One of every 5 teachers were let go this week in the San Diego Unified School District. With annual tight budgets, it's become a matter of routine to issue layoff notices and then cancel them. But the school district's $120 million deficit this year may mean those layoffs are permanent. Voice of San Diego's investigative reporter Will Carless is here to tell us what happens next for the laid off teachers and the students they leave behind. Will, we've seen this before. Layoff notices are issued, then they're rescinded. What's different this year for the 1,500 teachers who got their notices?
Well, technically what's different is that in past years, a lot of these layoffs have been rescinded before they actually became final. What we've seen this week is that these are final layoff notices. That means these teachers will lose their jobs. Now, the district can still come back and rehire some or even all of them, but we haven't really kind of gone this far in the process with this many people losing their jobs. The other thing that's different is that pretty much everyone I've spoken to says, you know, the budget crunch is that much worse this year. We're kind of out of options to get any extra money to solve this crisis. Now, some people don't believe that, but an awful lot of people do. They think that, you know, what I keep hearing is this is real this time. This is really happening, and there's not some magic cure that's going to come along and get us out of this problem. Any
chance that the district issued more layoff notices than necessary?
Well, this is something that's really important for people to understand, because there's a lot of confusion about this. The district CFO was constantly being quoted by union people and teachers and parents as having said that they laid off 500 more people than are necessary. Let's look at that very closely, because what he's essentially saying is when teachers retire or take leaves of absence or for some reason say, I'm not coming back to this district next year, that means that they can rescind a layoff for every single one of those teachers. Now, that's going to happen in the next few months. It hasn't happened, in most cases it hasn't happened yet because we're not at the end of the school year. So we're waiting to see what's going to happen with that.
Now, are all the schools uniformly affected by these layoffs?
Certainly not, no. I mean, the layoffs always tend to hit lower socioeconomic areas first. They tend to hit the struggling schools first because they tend to be the schools with newer, younger teachers. The way that it works is that it's kind of last in, first out. The newer, less experienced teachers are the first to get laid off. They tend to be at schools in certain parts of the city. One school, 25 out of 26 teachers have been laid off.
What's been the reaction of parents whose children stand to be affected by these layoffs?
I've been really surprised by how little feedback I've been getting from actual parents. A lot of feedback from teachers, unions, everybody else. Parents haven't really been contacting me. Either that shows me that people, perhaps aren't paying that much attention, or maybe they just don't think that it's real. Like you talked about earlier, I mean, we've had crying wolf before, and I think people are sort of sitting back and waiting to see if this is really going to crystallize, really happen. Then I'm sure I'm going to start getting emails.
Now, local labor leader Lorena Gonzalez has said that, look, these two sides, the teachers union and the school district, need to really sit down at the table and negotiate a deal. What are some of the options?
Well, essentially what we're looking at here, and I've been trying to shout this from the rooftops as much as possible, is what we're looking at. The big reason the district's in this much trouble is that it's promised raises to teachers over the next 2 years. It's those raises that form the bulk of the district's deficit. What Lorena Gonzalez is saying, in an extraordinary move, is, the teachers union needs to sit down and talk about whether teachers should not get either some or all of those raises in exchange for keeping teachers employed.
Now, this vote on Tuesday to issue the final notices to teachers to lay them off was not unanimous. School board member, I think he's Vice President Scott Barnett, actually voted against the layoffs. He's proposing something else. What else is he proposing?
What Scott wants is he wants the district to rescind all of the layoffs, which would immediately put its books out of balance, which would send the district into insolvency. It's essentially throwing in the towel and saying, we are insolvent, we can't pay our bills. In that instance, the state would sort of take over San Diego Unified. Scott thinks that's a good idea. He thinks the school board's done a terrible job of running the district. The school board would be kicked out if the state took over. So he's in this kind of strange position of saying, I want to keep these teachers, but keeping those teachers means that the ship capsizes and they go into insolvency.
Very quickly, has that ever happened before?
No, never happened to a school district of this size in California, ever.
Will Carless, Voice of San Diego, thank you so much for speaking to me.
Thank you.